When Yu thinks about someone, he can possess their body for 5 seconds. However, they must be within his line of sight, and his own body loses consciousness. It's a half-assed ability, but he uses it for the good of humanity. During exams, he possesses one smart student at a time, memorizes their answers, then fills out his own after returning. He planned to attend a prestigious high school to get close and crack the girl of his dreams. However, he didn't know anyone taking the entrance exam or who would be intelligent, so instead of studying, he snuck into different schools like Diddy to research the applicants. After passing with a perfect score, he was chosen as class representative on the first day. After class, a girl asked Yu to be her boyfriend. He outright lied, saying he spent all his time studying and had no time for relationships. In reality, she was ugly and plain. The girl he truly wanted was Yumi Shirayanagi. After school, Yu hatched a plan to crack. He spotted Truck Kun driving down the road, possessed Michan, and made her run. Then he possessed the truck driver and tried to isekai Yumi, but Captain saves a hoe just in time. When Michan returned, Yu suggested visiting the school nurse and offered Yumi his hand. Once her wound was treated, Yumi invited him to get pancakes with them. Diddy's got her. However, he declined, saying she should enjoy it with her friend. Michan realized Yumi was nervous, then pretended to receive a phone call and excused herself. Yu saluted her for the assist. Meanwhile, a mysterious investigator continued watching him. The next day, Yu was called to the office over the speakerphone. There, the student council accused him of cheating on the entrance exam. Since he had a perfect score, he would have to score at least 90 again to prove it. Yu called it ridiculous and tried to leave, but the principal supported the decision. If he refused or failed, he'd be expelled immediately. During the test, Yu possessed the boy to see the answers, only to discover he was looking at freak magazines.
Nice.
He tore them up before returning. The confused student asked what happened, and Yu claimed he just started ripping the paper apart. Suddenly, Tomori appeared and introduced herself as the student council president from another school. Apparently, she had been recording him ever since he arrived. She revealed that while the other student tore up the paper, Yu's body was lying unconscious, yet he still knew exactly what happened. Tomori exposed his power to possess people at will and revealed he had cheated on every exam. Yu claimed he suffered from a disease that made him suddenly fall asleep. However, she pulled out his latest medical exam and called it a lie. Outraged, Yu flipped the table and ran, bumping into a four-eyed freak on the way. As he escaped, he dragged Yumi along, and when she fell, he kept pushing like a top G. While running, explosions suddenly erupted around him. Yu turned back and saw a lunatic chasing him. The man launched himself at incredible speed, grabbed Yu, carried him into the air, then slammed him into the water and dragged him across like Naruto. After pulling him out, Takaju revealed his power was teleportation. However, he couldn't control where he stopped, resulting in dozens of trips to the hospital. Yu thought that sounded half-assed too. Moments later, Tomori arrived and informed him he would be transferring into their school. She explained many people possessed powers like his, but it was a disease that came and went during puberty. Until then, he would attend classes with them. She had already received permission from his legal guardians. She mocked him for cheating through life, even to get close to the girl he wanted. Furious, Yu charged at her, but she vanished and beat him to a bloody pulp.
Damn.
Apparently, Tomori could turn invisible to one target of her choice, another half-assed ability. Tomori considered his power useful and ordered him to join the student council. When Yu got home, his sister Ayumi greeted him and asked what happened to his ugly face. He claimed he fell down the stairs. Ayumi revealed their uncle had called and informed her they were both transferring to new schools as scholarship students. He was also sending them plenty of tasty food to celebrate. Yu asked if she was okay leaving her friends behind, but she didn't care as long as they stayed together. For dinner, Ayumi served his favorite meal, omu rice. However, Yu was disgusted because she made it with pizza sauce, just like their mother's recipe. Their mother selfishly divorced and dumped them on their uncle. Yu insisted the only family they had was each other. However, Ayumi felt they had one more family member somewhere, but Yu dismissed it as a dream. The following day, they moved into the condo next to their new school. Yumi was overjoyed they no longer had to live like brokies. Later, Yu told Yumi he was transferring away, but couldn't explain why. He asked if she would come visit him. Yumi thought traveling that far for a boy who hadn't even cracked yet was a hassle. Yumi accepted the situation and dumped him before they even officially started dating. That afternoon, Tomori and Takaju arrived to help them move in. Yu refused, but Tomori instantly rizzed Ayumi into accepting, then smirked at him. While unpacking, Yu found the tasty food their uncle supposedly sent, only to discover it was all instant ramen. After they finished, Tomori patted Ayumi on the head and promised they would visit again soon. Later that night, Yu dreamed of a third family member walking beside them. On his first day, Ayumi rushed over to bring him his lunch. At this school, Some students already had abilities, while others showed signs of developing one. Many had ended up as guinea pigs for cruel, misguided scientists. Yu laughed in disbelief, but Tamori revealed her own brother became one. Someone created this school to protect ability users, and the student council was tasked with finding them to either protect or threaten them into never using them again. After introducing himself to the class, the girls were immediately rizzed into submission. At lunch, Yu was disappointed it was the exact same meal as last night's dinner. Takaju suggested going to the cafeteria and offered to show him the way. Since it was packed, Takaju proposed buying sandwiches and eating outside. The line was ridiculously long, so he decided to dash through a blind spot beneath the security camera. Since he moved too fast, he wouldn't know what kind of bread he would grab. Time distorted as he blasted past a girl's face, stole a few sandwiches, and obliterated 100 innocent bystanders for absolutely no reason. Takaju returned with cutless sandwiches and proudly called it a great result. Yu disagreed since he looked like he got beat up by Conor McGregor. However, Takaju revealed he wore body armor underneath, so the injuries were never too deep. While eating the sandwiches, Yu realized his ability truly was half-assed. After lunch, they entered the student council room. Suddenly, a soaking wet freak walked in. With one finger, a drop of water fell onto the map, announced the power of photography at that location, then immediately left. Apparently, he was capable of locating new ability users. Tamori announced they were beginning an investigation. Their destination was another high school, where they questioned students one after another. Yu thought they were a bunch of whack jobs. Sometime later, Tamori returned after noticing someone acting suspicious. She ordered Yu to possess him and search his bag. Yu hesitated, but Tamori got pissed, causing him to finally agree. They chased the diddler around the back, then Yu possessed him and emptied his bag. After returning, Tamori searched through it, while Takaju flew in and blew out his back. Tamori discovered a normal photo of a girl along with a Superman X-ray vision version. She confronted him, asking if he took them himself, but he admitted he bought them. After threatening to expose him, he revealed who sold them. During archery class, Tamori confronted the photographer and exposed him as the archery team captain. He denied everything, but she explained one of his customers had already snitched. She asked why he did it, and he admitted his parents were sick and he needed the money. Suddenly, he revealed he projected Tamori in her panties with her face included. He threatened to post it on Instagram if she didn't back off. Tamori admitted his ability was impressive but doubted anyone would buy it. He replied that she was attractive and anyone would want to crack. Realizing she had just been complimented, she started cheering her heart out. However, Yu suddenly possessed him and handed over the photo. Once he regained control, he realized he had lost and fired an arrow at Tamori. Takaju instantly blasted over and barely caught it before almost unsubscribing from life. Tamori explained they never intended to hand him over to the police. If he was caught abusing his powers, he would become an experimental freak. After telling him to get a normal job instead, he collapsed to his knees, crying. After everything was over, Yu asked what exactly happened to her brother, and she offered to take him to visit. The next day, Tamori rudely ate a full meal on the train in front of everyone. They were all disgusted. Years earlier, Tamori had just passed her middle school entrance exam. Since they were poor, her brother Kazuki wanted to quickly sign with a record label so he could better support them. His favorite band was the post-rock group Xiend, and he dreamed of making music just like them. However, one day their mother announced she was sending them to a boarding school to develop their special talents. Kazuki became suspicious and questioned her. Their mother admitted she had sold them off, then groveled on the ground begging for forgiveness. At first, it looked like an ordinary school, but Tamori underwent physical examinations every day. They were supposedly attending the same school, yet she never saw Kazuki. What she didn't know was that he had become an experimental subject. His ability allowed him to make the air vibrate at will. A year later, she was finally allowed to see him again, but he was already gone. He couldn't even recognize who she was. The classmates around her had been planted by the scientists to keep her away from him. After that, she fought her way out of the facility and escaped. Soon afterward, she met the one person she could truly trust. Once they arrived at the hospital, they found Kazuki tearing apart the bedsheets. Apparently, he was composing and playing the guitar. His grunts and groans were actually the main melody. After the nurse gave him his medication, they took him outside for some fresh air. The person Tamori met after escaping had transferred him to this hospital free of charge. When Yu got home, Ayumi was pissed that he arrived so late. He explained he had joined the student council, instantly improving her mood, so she offered to serve him veggie curry. As she prepared dinner, Yu realized that if he were caught, Ayumi could end up like Kazuki. After taking one bite, he realized it tasted like garbage, and Ayumi admitted she used pizza sauce again. In class the next day, Takaju offered to steal Yu the limited edition beef curry plate for lunch, but Yu wasn't sure if he'd make it in time. At lunch, Takaju launched himself toward the cafeteria and killed more bystanders. Yu arrived to find a broken Takaju with 2 plates. After 1 bite, Yu was overjoyed to finally eat something good. They arrived at the student council room, where the soaking wet freak emerged. Yu asked why he was always wet, but apparently he couldn't use his ability otherwise. Yu thought that was half-assed too. The man revealed the power was channeling, the ability to let a ghost possess their body, and a second ability, pyrokinesis. After receiving the location, they followed the map into a suspicious alley. They questioned an old hag nearby, who explained an idol was being chased, so she assumed it was part of a movie and ignored it. Her name was Yusa Nishimori. The name sounded familiar, but Takaju immediately recognized it and turned into a fanboy simp. Yu realized she was the idol Ayumi liked. Tamori called idol geeks disgusting. Suddenly, she spotted a suspicious man and chased him. As they turned the corner, he gave her a taste of women's equality. However, Yu possessed him, and Takaju blasted his guts into the wall. After returning to his own body, Yu complained about the pain, but Takaju said that was his only purpose. Afterwards, Tamori interrogated the man. He claimed he was only following orders and didn't know who gave them. When she threatened his life, he admitted someone from Taiyu TV hired him. Moments later, Shu approached and asked who they were. Tamori explained they were looking for Yusa Nishimori because she appeared to be in danger. Takaju claimed they were huge fans, but Tamori blew out his spine. Shu wondered how they beat up a grown man, and she admitted they used their powers, just like Yusa. She believed they could save her. When he asked for proof, Tamori disappeared. Seeing that, he believed them, but warned the situation was complicated. After entering their hideout, Takaju unleashed his inner simp. After Yusa thanked him, Kuta asked who these freaks were. Shu explained they had powers like Misa. Tamori thought that was odd and asked if her real name was Misa. Kuta remained distrustful, but Shu admitted they had already fought someone off for them. Takaju wanted to get a sniff, but Kuta told him to back off. Tamori asked for Yusa's real name, and Takaju answered Yusa Kurobane before she sent him flying. It meant black feathers, so the station chose Nishimori instead. Tamori asked if she realized she sometimes became someone else. Yusa admitted she sometimes falls asleep and wakes up somewhere completely different. Tamori revealed to the others that Yusa could channel the spirits of the dead into her body. She asked if it was Misa. They admitted Misa was Yusa's older sister, who died 6 months ago. Suddenly, Yusa's hair changed as Misa manifested. Misa kicked Kuta in the nuts for telling strangers their secret. Takaju was stunned. Annoyed by how cramped the room was, Misa started cooking the place up. However, remembering Yusa, she quickly extinguished the flames. Tamori realized Yusa had no control, and Misa had to manually take over. Yu thought that was half-assed too. Yusa had the ability to be possessed, while Misa wielded pyrokinesis. The 2 bums were her friends when she was alive. Apparently, Yusa was being chased because she accidentally took home a phone belonging to a major producer. She accidentally read a text revealing enough dirt to get him booty tickled for 30 years in prison. Misa declared she'd burn the whole station down. Tamori called her insane and asked if she wanted Yusa thrown in prison. Instead, Tamori suggested threatening them. She considered herself an expert at creating wonderfully devious threats. Misa liked her spunk and agreed. When Yusa suddenly woke up, Takaju started banging his head in disbelief that she turned into a battle-hungry junkie. Their first step was getting fireproof clothing for the 2 bums. Afterwards, Yusa called the producer and arranged a meeting. When they met, Shu and Kuta quietly subdued 2 of the bodyguards and took their places. Yusa asked if returning the phone now would still ruin her future. The producer claimed it was already over. Outraged, Misa roasted Sho alive. After cooking Kuta next, the man asked if she was really Yusa. She declared she was the real Yusarin and would kill anyone who got in her way. Yu possessed the 3rd man and stabbed himself in the leg. Misa waved her hand, and the last one was swiped away by Takaju. Using Tamori's invisibility power, Misa pounded the producer until he was beaten to a pulp. She tossed out his phone and warned that next time she'd erase his family line. After he fled, Misa thanked them for their help. However, Tamori revealed why they had really come. She wanted Yusa to transfer into their school. If she was ever caught, her life as a guinea pig would begin. The safest place was the condo beside their school, where she could live a normal life until her powers disappeared. Thinking of Yusa's future, Misa accepted. They asked if Misa would disappear once the powers were gone. Tamori admitted she would, but she was already dead. It was amazing they could even see her at all. After accepting and saying their goodbyes, Misa thanked them, then wished them long and happy lives. When Yu returned home, Ayumi was furious he was late again. Apparently, she made spaghetti with pizza sauce. While doing the dishes, Yusa's song came on, and Ayumi rushed over to sing along. Yu told her Yusa was transferring into his school. Realizing she might get to meet her, Ayumi's nose exploded. The following morning, Ayumi served him red French toast made with pizza sauce. After taking a bite, Yu realized she'd have trouble finding a husband if this continued. At school, the local simps had already heard Yusa-rin was transferring in. When the teacher arrived with Yusa, she introduced herself as the star, Yusa-rin, causing the simps to go crazy. With a single shush, the class became quiet for her introduction. Afterwards, Takaju started pounding his chest and chanting her name. While he glazed her, Tamori appeared and called it a turnoff. She then pulled Yusa away for a student council meeting. At the council room, the wet freak emerged from the shadows once again. Yusa thought he was a lunatic. He revealed the next power was telekinesis and gave them its location. After Yu explained his bizarre ability, Yusa thought it was amazing and declared she'd do her best. Tamori realized what school it was and presented a sports paper from last week. Apparently, he pitched 3 perfect games in a row using sharp knuckleballs, making him a high school pitcher destined for the pro leagues. The next day, Tamori recorded their practice. In slow motion, she caught his grip and realized he was throwing normally, then using telekinesis to move the ball afterward. Knuckleballs were supposed to be thrown with the index and middle fingers against the ball, but he was changing the trajectory after release. Yusa thought it was amazing. Tamori suggested heading over immediately. Yusa asked about missing class, but Tamori explained there would be no demerits as long as they were on the student council. Upon meeting the culprit, Tamori directly asked if he used telekinesis to win his games. He asked if she was in some cult. However, she revealed the power was a disease that would only last through adolescence. Even if he made it to the big leagues, he'd lose the power once he arrived. If anyone discovered him, he'd be captured and turned into a lab rat. The boy didn't believe them at all. After Tamori turned invisible, he remained stubborn, so Misa appeared and suggested roasting the chump. When Tamori stopped her, a frustrated Misa spat on the ground, causing Takaju to slurp it up.
Lock him up! Put him in fucking prison!
They felt extreme sympathy for him. Tamori suggested a baseball game between their schools. If they won, he'd have to do whatever they said. If he won, he'd never have to see them again. The boy accepted, and they left. Yu asked if their team had any powers, but Tamori explained they didn't, and they had to support them. On game day, both teams bowed and took their positions. Tamori declared that if they lost, she'd spank them all with a bat. In the first round, their pitcher struck 1 batter out, but Tamori thought they were cooked if they couldn't even hit one of his balls. Their pitcher complained and tried quitting, but Tamori ordered Yusa to riz him into submission. He immediately became a simp. The culprit pitched next and struck everyone out with knuckleballs. When it was his turn to bat, he hit toward Yusa, but Misa took over and showed incredible reflexes. However, Yusa's body couldn't keep up, causing her throw to fall short. After many scoreless innings, the opposing team placed a runner on every base. Tamori suggested Yu possess the opposing batters so they would miss. As the game continued, Yu possessed them and forced them to miss. The referee asked if he was okay, but he woke up then immediately fell asleep again. The 4-eyed nerd made a run for home base. Tamori called out to the catcher, but it was too late, and he scored safely. They needed 2 points to win. Tamori instructed Takaju to bunt the ball, then use his powers to run to first base. She would record evidence with a super high-speed camera. After 2 strikes, Takaju bunted the ball, took off toward first base, and crashed into the wall. The referee was confused, but Tamori slid over with evidence, and the referee declared him safe. While on the stretcher, Tamori praised him and promised it wouldn't go to waste. Misa stepped up and hit a long ball, allowing her to reach first base. Tamori bunted the ball, sacrificing herself and letting the others advance. After 2 quick strikes, Yu finally hit a foul. He continued hitting multiple fouls, but his timing kept improving. On the final pitch, Yu thought he failed, but the ball passed the catcher, allowing Tamori to call for an advance. The first runner reached home, and Misa rushed toward the plate, claiming her game sense guaranteed success. After her dive, the referee called her safe, making Tamori's school the winner. After their pathetic L, the boy promised to never use his powers again. However, his catcher was powerless, but had genuine talent. He only wanted to use his ability to help him reach the big leagues. Tamori believed him, but explained people would eventually notice him even without cheating. Whether in college or business leagues, he could keep watching over him as his best friend. Hearing her words, he was touched and accepted. As a small experiment, Tamori asked Yu to possess his body for a second, then return. After he woke up, she said she planned to observe him for a while. Upon returning home, Yu was served a cream bowl of broccoli soup, but it was red again. When Yusa-rin's show came on, Ayumi asked if Yusa really transferred into his school. After he confirmed it, her nose exploded harder than Jiraiya-sensei's. At school, a group of ugly girls dragged Tamori out of class. Yu followed them and found the girls beating the crap out of Tamori. He wasn't surprised considering what she did on a daily basis. After checking on her, they returned to the student council room. Yusa was worried, but Misa suggested committing murder. Suddenly, the wet lunatic arrived and informed them the next ability was floating in the air. Tamori excitedly revealed a report about a flying humanoid spotted outside the city. She suggested staking it out until they appeared. Misa said, causing Takaju to freak out. He begged her to turn back into Yusa, but she threatened his pathetic life. While shopping for supplies, the others thought Tamori and Yu already looked like a married couple. However, Takaju was shooting out milk at the thought of walking alone with Yusa-rin. After arriving at the mountain, the boys carried the tent and heavy baggage while the girls carried groceries. They reached a clearing and decided to set up camp. The girls prepared the grill while the boys built the tent. Suddenly, Yu fell and nearly broke his neck in an abandoned well. He asked why Tamori didn't warn him, but she thought it would be funny if he actually fell. Afterwards, she offered to plug it up when they were finished. Misa used her powers to light the grill so they could cook. Tamori happily took a bite, but Yu worried they would attract unwanted attention. She thought it was delicious and told everyone to eat. When Misa switched back to Yusa, Takaju offered her grilled corn like a peasant servant. At night, Yusa was getting cooked in Call of Duty Mobile. When Takaju offered help, Misa shattered his jaw and declared she didn't need it. Yu noticed Tamori was missing and walked into the woods to find her. He discovered her sitting alone on a cliffside. Yu asked what she was listening to, and Tamori showed it was a band called Jiend. It was the band her brother loved. Yu listened with her, and for the first time in his life, he felt at peace. He felt like he was standing alone in a vast, open sea. Tamori was glad he understood it. The music Jiend created was incredibly vast, yet carried a lonely feeling. She believed it was because the vocalist was completely blind. Yu realized he had never seen this expression from her before. Overjoyed, Tamori told him to keep the music player. For sleep, they took shifts with 2 people standing watch at a time until morning. While sleeping, Yu dreamed of a 3rd family member again. When they switched shifts, he wondered who that person was. The following day, Tamori caught a rainbow trout, sparking a fire inside Misa. Tamori noticed Diddy lurking in the woods, but continued fishing. Takaju offered Yusa-rin a cooked fish, but Misa snapped and reminded him she wasn't Yusa. However, she switched back so Misa could enjoy the fresh food fuel. Yu wondered if they were just here to mess around. Suddenly, Yusa asked if she could take a bath somewhere if they stayed another night. Apparently, Tamori had prepared something and asked her to follow. When she presented the homeless tub, Misa immediately took over. Tamori returned and declared the bath was girls only. The 2 boys could wash in the cold river instead. Takaju was outraged that he couldn't bathe in Yusa's bath juices. Meanwhile, Misa turned into a cooked raisin. While washing up, Yu noticed Takaju was much more muscular without his uniform. Besides the body armor, he regularly trained to keep his body prepared for any suicidal attempts. The next morning, a dirty bum emerged from the woods and asked what they were doing. Tamori immediately lied and claimed they were all runaways who escaped into the woods to crack. When he tried to call the cops, Tamori warned they would arrest him too since it was private property. She pulled out the magazine and accused him of being the flying humanoid. Since the area was close to the city, he was out here practicing. However, their group showed no signs of leaving, so he became impatient and revealed himself to drive them away. When he denied it, Tamori claimed she already recorded evidence of him. He called her a pest and jumped over to take it, but fell into the abandoned well she covered.
Gotcha, bitch!
After he flew out, Tamori played him and recorded the real evidence. Takaju called her a devil. The man rushed Tamori and grabbed the camera. Takaju told Yu to possess him so he could break his neck, but Yu hesitated. After the man got the camera, Yu had no choice. When he woke up, he realized how high he was. During the fall, he focused everything he had on controlling himself and barely succeeded at the last second. After waking up, Tamori revealed they all had powers too. She explained their abilities were like an illness that appeared during puberty and eventually disappeared. If the government discovered him, they would capture him and torture him. She asked what would happen if his power disappeared while he was in mid-air. He'd be cooked. She asked Misa to reveal her fire as proof. After seeing it, he admitted he once dreamed of soaring through the skies as sky-high Saito for Hollywood. Yu thought he was corny. When Yu returned home, Ayumi served noodles with loads of vegetables. It wasn't red. Since she made something delicious without pizza sauce, he suggested never using it again. When she thought that was comforting, Yu was relieved he finally got rid of the devil sauce. She then admitted a bum from her class asked her out. However, she rejected him because she only needed her brother. When she suddenly sneezed, Yu checked her temperature and discovered she had a cold. By morning, Ayumi was running a high fever, so Yu offered to call in sick for her. At school, Kumagami barged in, soaking wet as usual, dropped the location, revealed the ability was collapse, then left. Tamori assumed it destroyed anything the user targeted, but the location was the condo complex they all lived in. Since adults didn't have powers, she believed it was just a student with a cold or something. Yu immediately panicked. Tamori noticed his anxiety and questioned him, so he reluctantly admitted his sister was homesick. Tamori volunteered to check on her. Yu suddenly remembered Ayumi was a huge fan of Yusa, but realized the simp might interfere. He considered taking over his body and jumping out the window, but Tamori read his mind, tricked Takaju toward the window, then committed a homicide by launching him out. While she called him an ambulance, Yu secretly cheered. Afterwards, Yu wanted to stop by a store to buy porridge packs. The girls suggested eating the same as Ayumi, but Yu wanted them to head home afterward. Yusa thought it'd be better if they all ate together. She lived away from her parents too, so she'd be alone if she went home. Tamori was used to being alone, but Yusa had only recently moved out. Yu remembered Tamori's past and Yusa's family situation, then realized he was fortunate to at least have his sister. He chased after them and announced they'd all eat porridge together. The total came to 1,360 yen, and the brokey was broke. Tamori brought enoki mushrooms to the counter and offered to pay since they were her favorite. Yusa suddenly asked for the big box of Royal Collection cookies. Yu had never seen anyone buy them before. Apparently, they cost 2,500 yen and came with a gift bag. When they arrived, Yu warned Yusa that Ayumi might get a nosebleed, so she put on her COVID disguise. Yu went inside and found signs of intruders. He checked on Ayumi and found her surrounded by her friends. Nomura introduced herself, explaining they came to check on Ayumi. Oikawa immediately started glazing him and Ayumi, but Nomura stopped him since he'd already been rejected. Yu realized he was the scum who asked her out. The little wench beside them just nodded. Nomura apologized for the intrusion and excused herself. As they left, the little wench gave Yu a death stare before running off. Moments later, Tamori barged in and asked how Ayumi was doing. Ayumi asked if they'd cracked yet, but both denied it. The armed robber walked in and waved, but Ayumi instantly recognized her and blew her brains out. Tamori clogged her up instead. Yusa removed her disguise and presented get-well cookies, leaving Ayumi mesmerized. Tamori gave her a get-well gift too, and announced they were all having porridge together. After eating, Yusa got a call from the TV station for work and apologized for leaving. Ayumi thanked her for visiting. Yusa thanked them for the food, then wished Ayumi a speedy recovery. After Yusa left, Yu said he'd do the dishes later.
Don't be such a slob! We're cleaning up! I'll handle scrubbing and you'll dry them!
While washing them, Ayumi teased Yu and Tamori for secretly dating, but they denied it at the same time. Later, Yu gave Ayumi her medicine and tucked her into bed. She suddenly mentioned having a nightmare that afternoon. Tamori thought it was normal while sick and asked what it was about, but Yu figured it'd only remind her. When Tamori announced she was heading home, Yu offered to walk her out. Outside, Tamori asked him to question Ayumi about the nightmare since it might be a clue to the collapse ability. They had no proof it was her, but the possibility was incredibly high. Even if her fever dropped, she suggested keeping her home another day. After returning inside, Yu asked Ayumi about the nightmare. She only remembered something breaking, like the ground splitting in half. The next day, Yu informed the group. Tamori believed it was an ability so dangerous it'd affect the user too, and suggested keeping Ayumi home a few more days. The following morning, Yu checked her temperature as the fever faded. He still insisted she stay home another day and walked away to call in sick for her. Hours later, Ayumi snuck out through the lobby bathroom window. During lunch, Tamori called for the boys, but they ignored her and kept scarfing down their food. When they finally arrived, she informed them Ayumi was at school. Yu thought that was a mistake. Her temperature was normal, but he'd told her to stay home another day. Tamori urged them to check on her immediately. Meanwhile, a girl was dropped off at Ayumi's school and ran inside. Oikawa approached Ayumi outside the bathroom and asked her out again. She declined again, but he grabbed onto her like a gooner. Nomura suddenly tackled him aside and declared she'd end him if he touched Ayumi again. Ayumi thanked her and ran off, only to bump into the little wench, Konishi, around the corner. Outside, the others sprinted toward the school. Konishi admitted she used to eat lunch with Oikawa every day. They were supposed to be dating until Ayumi transferred in. Ever since then, he hadn't even looked her way. Konishi pulled a prison shank, but Ayumi insisted it was all a misunderstanding. Konishi was psychotic, so Ayumi ran. She reached the top of the stairs, only to find the roof door locked. When Konishi caught up, Ayumi desperately begged for help. In that instant, her powers awakened and devastation followed, collapsing the building around them. The woman from before arrived, claiming she hadn't made it in time. Yu called out to her, rushed inside, and started moving the rubble, but the structure above crumbled and crushed him beneath it. Days later, Yu wakes up in a hospital and learns his sister didn't make it. At the funeral, women dressed in black tell him to move forward for her sake. When he returns home, he places her portrait down, then breaks down crying. After days of grief, Yu searches the cabinets for food, then checks the refrigerator, but nothing is there. He finds a box of instant ramen and starts eating it. He lives off garbage for days until Yusa and Takaju arrive with a pot of cream stew. Yu claims he isn't hungry and sends them away. Misa takes over, drops the stew in anger, and causes the simp to start slurping it off the floor. She says she'll have Yusa make more if he breaks down the door with his ability. However, he claims the doors are heavy-duty due to security reasons. Misa calls him useless and ignites her flames, but feels extreme sympathy for Yu before switching back to Yusa. She asks what happened, and Takaju explains, Yu needs more time to heal. The following day, Yu runs out of noodles and gets dressed to leave. However, men are waiting outside with the landlord to capture him by force. Yu takes over one of the men, beats the crap out of the other, and unsubscribes from life. After disposing of them, he calmly walks away. At the store, Yu withdraws all the cash he has available, then takes a train to a nearby city. He sets up camp at a gaming cafe and sleeps his life away. After a few days, he buys sugar mochi snacks and stops at an arcade. He goes insane shooting down zombies and spends the entire day there. Over the next few days, he loses his mind and claims he'll kill anyone who stands in his way. One day, a couple of bums are playing the game. He waits hours, then kicks bamboo skewers at them. When they turn around, the boss sees he's just a scrawny wimp and orders them to drag him out into an alley. After they threaten him, Yu takes over one of them and cracks the boss's jaw. The man snaps back to reality and tries to take off Yu's head, but Yu takes control of the other and blows out his guts. The boss pulls a knife but misses, so Yu possesses him and stabs the other in the arm. The boss tries to run, but Yu forces him to headbutt the wall instead. The man wonders what's happening, but Yu stabs him in the leg and declares he'll kill them if he ever sees them again. A few nights later, a bum approaches and asks if he defeated Gando's gang by himself. They try intimidating him, but Yu starts slaughtering them with their own weapons. One of them stabs the boss in the leg before running away in fear. Yu pulls his head back and threatens to take his eye until he begs for mercy. Over the next week, multiple gangs challenge his authority, but he takes them all down single-handedly. After beating up some wimps, Yu discovers a dangerous substance and gets excited. Later that night, he hides in a corner of a park like a bum and rolls it up. However, someone suddenly kicks the sparkly dust out of his hands. Yu looks up and sees his beloved Tamori. He asks how she knew where he was, but she reveals she had been with him the entire time. Tamori tells him he'll lose his humanity if he continues down this path. She feels partially responsible for what happened. She thought it might have been a bad idea involving Ayumi. They should have quarantined her the moment they became aware. That's why she decided to stick with him until he returns to normal. Yu tells her to mind her business, but she suddenly asks if he wants to stop being human. He asks what he was even supposed to do, and her answer is to get some food. A good meal is the foundation of a good mood and healthy lifestyle. When he declines, Tamori suggests taking one bite, then she'll leave him alone. They arrive at Takaju's family home and enter. Yu sits on the couch while she prepares, but falls asleep thinking about Ayumi. When he wakes up, Tamori presents the omu-rice. Yu takes a bite and realizes it has the same taste. His mother had left behind a notebook full of recipes, and Tamori borrowed it. The page with the omu-rice was the only one with a big flower circle around it, so she assumed it was his favorite. Tamori believes Ayumi saw that and tried recreating the taste to make him happy. Yu suddenly tears up as he remembers the last omu-rice Ayumi made for him. He starts crying, then eats the entire thing. After a full belly, Yu asks what he's supposed to do now. Tamori jokingly suggests returning to the student council. Yu doesn't think that's possible since she promised to leave the bum alone. However, he took more than one bite and scarfed it down like a hungry stray. Yu smiles, realizes he's been a fool, and promises to return, making her glad. After returning from being a bum, Yu says goodbye to Ayumi, then heads out. When he arrives, Yusa happily greets him with a smile, causing the gooners to send death glares. Yusa offers to cast a spell on Yu to make him feel better, causing the Zero Aura simp to go crazy and pissing Tamori off. However, Yu is just glad they're all doing well. At lunch, Takaju offers to steal him a plate, then kamikazes himself into the cafeteria. When Yu arrives, he's leaking as usual. After everything he's been through, he's learned to appreciate Takaju a little more. Suddenly, they receive a text from Tamori informing them about the wet maniac, causing them to scarf down their food. They arrive and almost throw up, only for Tamori to announce they're going to watch Yusa's new music video. The simp is overjoyed to be one of the first to see it. He almost climaxes. During the mini-concert, Yu and Yusa watch elegantly, but the nerd is breathing heavily, so Tamori gives him a brain tumor. After it's done, bro almost dies. Tamori thinks it's pretty good, making Yusarin overjoyed. Yu asks what's taking the wet freak so long, but Tamori revealed he isn't coming today, and she called them to present tickets for Jien's concert tomorrow night. Yusa doesn't know who they are, but Takaju informs her it's a rock band Tamori likes.
It's post-rock! Get it right, moron!
She has 2 tickets to see them, and only one of them can go. Tamori demands to know if there are volunteers. Takaju claims he's busy and volunteers Yu for the quest. Yusa agrees and thinks they'll finally be able to crack. Yu suggests asking Misa, but she responds she'll only go if she can listen to a super fast double bass at 260 beats per minute. However, Tamori denies her request, saying it isn't possible. Yu wonders if it's okay, but Tamori reassures him it's okay to take a break. After school, Yu sees a blind foreigner walking then realizes he recognizes her. He calls out and asks if she understands him, but she closes the distance and immediately asks him to take her to a ramen shop. She'd been searching all over Japan for the right shop, but everyone seemed to ignore her. Moments later, they enter a small shop. After she orders, Yu realizes no one would be home for dinner, so he orders one as well. When the bum arrives with their food, the man recognizes her as Sarah Shane, the lead vocalist for G End, confirming Yu's suspicion. He was excited for her concert tomorrow and asked for her autograph. Yu notices and is surprised she can write so well without seeing. When she took a bite, she thought Japan had the greatest food. After stepping out, Sarah asks if something bad happened to him recently. She can tell by the way he breathes and talks, then asks if he can tell her about it. At the park, Yu reveals he lost his little sister a little while ago. Upon hearing this, Sarah immediately begs to be allowed to burn some incense for her. After taking her to Ayumi's portrait, he asks her for a favor. He steps out and calls Tomori for the first time. She's surprised and asks what he wants. Yu reveals the vocalist for Z End is currently at his home. Tomori doesn't care at all. She believes him since he has no reason to lie, but she doesn't care about meeting her. Yu returns and informs Sarah the person he wants her to meet is kind of far, then asks what time she has to be back. Sarah thinks whatever is important to him is already important to her as well. She figures the producers and others will just have to wait. During the trip, Yu asks if she's 100% blind. He's curious since he saw her write the autograph earlier. Sarah wasn't born like that, but believes it was her way of repenting for her sins. She dreamed of spending her life working on stage as the front man for a band. However, she was pitiful at both singing and the guitar. She watched people her age get showered with praise for their songs. She hated God. Sarah was only able to live out her dreams now because she cheated. How wasn't important. The fact was she was greedy. There was a time she was popular in Japan too. When you make that kind of money, people around you start to act differently. Her little brother was once kidnapped for ransom. After that, she gave it up and decided to be the front man for a really dull band. Finally, she bartered her eyesight away to God. She didn't expect him to understand, but if he ever found himself in a similar situation, she hoped he'd handle it well. They reach the hospital, and Yu apologizes for dragging her so far. However, Sarah thinks he's kind-hearted and believes he wasn't always like that. He immediately thinks of Tomori. Hours before, Yu asks if he can bring Sarah to meet Kazuki. Tomori doesn't think it'll help, then asks why he suddenly cares. He realizes he used to be a selfish bastard, but she thanks him regardless. Back at the hospital, they enter the room and find Kazuki playing the guitar. Sarah asks what he's doing, and Yu believes he's composing. He was a big fan of her band in the past. Sarah approaches and begins to sing. The sound of her beautiful voice soothes his soul as he slowly calms down and turns her way. Afterwards, Yu introduces himself, then asks if he remembers his little sister, Tomori. He repeats her name, but that's all. Sarah thinks it's a miracle. Yu cries and thanks her, but Sarah is just glad he's happy. Afterwards, Sarah gets scolded over the phone while they wait for her ride, then gets dragged away. Later, Tomori calls and thanks him. She rushed over the moment the nurse called to inform her of what happened. Kazuki actually recognized her. It had been a long time since she saw him like that, and she was grateful. When Yu arrives for his date, Tomori says good morning, leaving him moist. On the way, Yu is surprised she didn't want to meet Sarah. However, Tomori was only interested in their high-tech smartphone case. It has an internal battery and comes with a hi-fi linear PCM recorder. At the line, Yu wanted to stay back, but Tomori thought it'd be boring standing alone and pulled him along. Yu thought she hated him and wondered when they became close. Once the case is acquired, Tomori is overjoyed to show him the artwork on the back. After they choose their seats, the show begins and Sarah makes her appearance. They listen for a while as a few songs go by and the crowd cheers. However, Yu suddenly feels a strange sensation. During the next song, Yu felt like he knew it, despite it being his first time hearing it. His eyes start glowing as memories from the past flood in. Suddenly, he goes mad and blacks out. Yu wakes up, blasting that very song with Ayumi beside him. On the way to lunch, Yu notices the old man and wonders why he's always there. Tsutsumiyuchi asks if the girl is his sister. After Yu responds, the old man says he pities him. Yu is surprised there was a researcher who felt that way. At the cafeteria, Ayumi is excited they're being served curry today. Yu thinks it tastes like garbage medicine, pumped with chemicals to enhance their abilities. Ayumi thinks it's a shame their big brother can't have any. Yu reminds her his ability is traveling through time, so he's kept in isolation and tells her not to talk about it again. While eating, Kumagami approaches and sits behind him. Apparently, he's finally tracked down someone with telepathy. However, he's been caught. First, Yu is to take over the man to his right. His ability is pulverize, but there are limitations. Next, Kumagami passes a note with the location of the one with telepathy. Before leaving, he tells Yu he's their last hope and failure isn't an option. If he's discovered, they're all cooked. The guards tell Kumagami his time is up. They point a gun at Yu and ask if he accepted anything, but he outright denies it. The guard accepts his answer and walks away with Kumagami. Meanwhile, Shichino is pissed they have to rely on Yu, but Maidamari explains it's their only choice now that they've found telepathy. Madoki asks if he's jealous, but the guard tells them to shut up. After lunch, Ayumi suddenly remembers they called her in. Suddenly, guards approach to take her away, and Yu's tased from behind. Hours later, Yu wakes up to the building shaking from devastation. He gets up and tries to escape, but it's locked down. While moping, the door opens and he finds Tsutsumiyuchi outside, cooked well done. He informs Yu that Ayumi's power is collapse, and the building caved in when it awakened. She's restrained at the moment, and after they dissect her, they'll dispose of her body. The old man insists Yu use the true ability he's been hiding to save her. Plunder, the most powerful ability. Yu is shocked he knows, but he has no time to explain and tells him to go. Yu reaches the cell holding Mr. Telepathy. He hears his voice, then thinks he needs to see his face, causing the man to look up and allowing Yu to plunder his ability. As he runs off, a guard takes aim, but Madoki calls out and hypnotizes him. Afterwards, she falls asleep. Meanwhile, Yu's older brother, Shunsuke, demands to know what's going on. Yu hears him and calls out to him. Shunsuke realizes he's taken telepathy. Yu had no choice since they were about to dissect Ayumi. She has an ability strong enough to destroy the entire facility. Yu plans to save Shunsuke so he can time leap and change the world for them. Shunsuke just needs light in his eyes for it to work. Suddenly, sleeping gas fills the hallway, but Shichino comes out like Diddy and offers his powers up for the rebellion. After he plunders it, the guards come and take aim, so he tosses Yu into the wall, allowing himself to get shot up like 50 Cent. Yu apologizes, then frantically runs through walls to find Shunsuke. Upon reaching his cell, he blows apart his blindfolds using pulverize. Shunsuke apologizes for leaving him behind, then time leaps so he can change all their futures. Suddenly, Yu wakes up in the hospital. Tamori explains he crashed out during the concert. Yu realizes Ayumi is still gone. He wonders if what he saw was truly a dream. However, he remembers Ayumi mentioning she felt that they had another sibling. Yu tells Tamori he's sure he had a big brother somewhere. Moments later, Kumagami comes in and asks if he finally remembers. Tamori asks who he is, but he reveals himself as Waterboy.
Oh, Waterboy! You're pretty handsome when you're dry.
Kumagami asks him to follow, and he'll learn everything he needs to know. After that, he'll be able to rescue his little sister. Kumagami asks if he remembers Shunsuke's power, and Yu understands. Tamori asks if she can go see him as well, since it's been a while. Apparently, Shunsuke was the man who transferred her brother and set her on her path. Outside, their driver Furuki is waiting. They arrive outside the city and walk on foot up a mountain. Their hideout is a secret bunker hidden within the mountain. Tamori thinks it's cool, but Kumagami says money isn't a problem. This is the last safe place for power holders. They get downstairs and enter an office, where Shunsuke is waiting. Apparently, Yu still hasn't regained all the memories Maidamari erased. When Tamori greets him, he tells her he's proud of her. Afterwards, Shunsuke sits them down and explains everything. After escaping, Shunsuke wakes up in the past. During breakfast, Shunsuke asks Ayumi how old she is now. Her answer is 8, which means they get captured in 3 years. His plan is to make contact with Kumagami and his group. However, Kumagami finds him first using his own ability. Shunsuke claims they were already friends and promised to change the world together. By then, Kumagami had already formed a group of ability wielders. After they enter, Kumagami introduces him as the one who can time leap. Apparently, he knows all of them and came from the future. Shichino is in disbelief, but Shunsuke calls him by name and reveals his power to pass through matter. Unfortunately, doing so leaves him extremely exhausted. Next is Maidamari, who can erase someone's memories, but he needs to touch them and take time to sift through them. Last is Madoki, who possesses powers of hypnotism but falls asleep afterward. All half-assed abilities. Shunsuke explains the tragic future awaiting everyone with powers, then reveals the plan he and Kumagami made in the future. But in the end, it's just a gathering of children. No matter how many times he starts over, they're unable to protect themselves. During his birthday, Shunsuke sees an announcement for a lottery winner and realizes it's the only way forward. He returned and declared they needed funding. He'll go back with info on the lottery so they can properly fund a syndicate the government can't touch. After the leap, he notices his vision beginning to fade. Since then, they've gathered many members, but it took many more time leaps to achieve. His power takes in the light from his eyes, and once he loses his vision, he'll no longer be able to leap. One day, they lose multiple ability wielders to the government. During his birthday, Shunsuke wonders how many times he's experienced it. When Yu asks about his entrance exams, Shunsuke suddenly gets an idea. He goes to Kumagami and tells him he'll leap one more time. However, one more leap will cause his vision to completely fade. His plan is to create a school. With a school, they'll be able to hide and protect them in plain sight. After that, he makes his last time leap. From that point on, he walked down the ultimate path of darkness. Soon after, they buy out a certain educational institution and begin their new journey. Shunsuke wants his existence erased from Yu and Ayumi's memories, since he can no longer live in the open. For Kumagami, Shunsuke jokingly tells him to cover his face with his ugly hair. He thinks it's a good touch, then decides to add some water over it, creating the wet freak. That night, Shunsuke arrives home with Madoki, who puts Ayumi to sleep. Yu comes out, and she does the same to him. While the others move his belongings out, Maidamari takes his time erasing all memories of him. Afterwards, Shunsuke tells them to live peacefully, then leaves for some milk. Shunsuke instructs Yu to take his ability and go save Ayumi. Plundering abilities is his true power. Yu is shocked to hear it's true, but Tamori confirms it. Kumagami revealed it when they went after him. After an investigation, she realized Yu misunderstood his ability. As proof, everyone he possessed lost their abilities. She kept it from him in case he ever became a threat after gaining too much power. Shunsuke knew he liked her. He tells Yu to plunder his ability and go back to the day Ayumi's power developed. Upon arriving, he must plunder Collapse from her, then find him in the past. Once everything is settled, Yu plunders Shunsuke's power. When he wakes up, he looks at Tamori, but she just smiles. He then goes back to the day Ayumi was sick. At school, Waterboy announces the ability. Takaju notices it's at their condos, but Yu immediately admits it could be his sister, since she was home with a cold that day. Tamori suggests checking on her together. However, Yu proposes going with just the two of them. Upon arriving, the little wench gives him a death glare, and he realizes she's the cause. After tucking Ayumi in, they head outside. Yu asks if she'd believe him if he said he came from the future. If it was for Ayumi, Tamori wouldn't doubt it at all. Hearing that, Yu reveals Ayumi will die in 2 days when Collapse goes out of control, so he came back to prevent it. Tamori is concerned he's acting alone and offers help from the student council. Yu thanks her, then admits after losing Ayumi, he became a bum and nearly fell to pieces. But then she came and pulled him out. He thanks her again. When Yu goes back in, he immediately plunders Ayumi's ability. On the day of her death, Yu drops her off at school. Afterwards, the student council arrives in disguise. Takaju is a worthless idiot, so they make him a substitute teacher, while Tamori and Yusa are students. Later, Yu hides inside a locker and waits. Suddenly, he overhears some nerds recognizing Yusa. She denies it, but he calls the Virgin Squad, and they gather like ghouls. Misa suddenly takes over and spits all over the ground in disgust. However, they start slurping it up. An ugly girl notices Tamori is super pretty too, and asks if she's an idol. Tamori is appalled, but she flees and abandons Misa-rin. They're caught instantly. Moments later, Takaju is called out for posing as a teacher, then gets dragged away by a muscle-head coach. Meanwhile, downstairs, Konishi has already approached Ayumi. Outside, Madoki hops out and runs in for Ayumi. The little wench corners Ayumi at the top of the stairs. However, Yu runs in front, uses Collapse to frighten her. He warns that if she tries to harm Ayumi again, he'll kill her. As she runs away, Madoki sees everything, then retreats. After saving Ayumi, the others approach them, but Yu admits he remembers everything. Kumagami smiles, then requests that they come along. Upon entering, Shunsuke greets them both with a smile. Ayumi asks who he is, and Shunsuke explains he had to erase their memories of him for their safety. She doesn't understand, but Yu addresses him as Big Brother. Shunsuke is glad he's finally there. However, Yu reveals he used his time leap and had planned to come regardless. Meanwhile, outside, Furuki receives a call from Diddy with a request. After filling Shunsuke in, he explains Yu can steal any ability he wants, which makes him a liability. Organizations will be after him, and he can't let him live in the open until the powers fade away. Soon after, Shunsuke leads them into their research facility, where Tsutsumiyuchi greets them. Here, they're creating a vaccine to prevent future ability wielders. Apparently, the abilities are from a long-orbiting comet named Charlotte, whose orbit brings it to Earth every 75 years. When it comes, an unknown particle showers over, and those who inhale it develop powers during adolescence. They're creating a vaccine to prevent it from happening again. However, that wouldn't do anything for people that already have them. Yu asks if Ayumi can regain her memories of him, but Shunsuke says it's impossible. Yu thinks that's sad, but Shunsuke suggests creating new memories moving forward. When Shunsuke introduces himself, Ayumi instantly calls him Big Brother Shun. After she meets his friends, they immediately steal her away. While Shunsuke helps Ayumi study, Waterboy suddenly detects a new ability user. The others think it's sudden, but he explains it was always random. Yu suddenly realizes he never had to be wet to use it. He asks if he can join him at the student council, but they remind him he's a target. Yu thinks about his girl and wonders how she's doing. Outside, Kumagami enters the car and sees Furuki trembling, but he claims it's nothing. On the way, Furuki admits his family is being threatened and they have a different destination. Kumagami is shocked to hear he has a family. They have rules against members with families. They arrive at a nearby warehouse and enter. Inside, foreigners appear. Furuki demands they release his family, but they say he has one last job, then tell him to wait outside. Furuki apologizes, then runs away. The musclehead walks up, crushes his gut, and elbows him to the ground. After hours of torture and no information, they inject him with a truth serum. When Kumagami wakes up, he realizes he told them everything. At the condo, Tamori wakes up to the sound of footsteps. When they enter, she appears and breaks his ribs with a powerful kick. However, the musclehead bum knocks her out with one punch. Moments later, Shunsuke receives a call from the foreigners declaring war. They reveal Kumagami exposed everything he knew. Shunsuke asks if he's still alive, and they say he is, only his teeth and nails are gone. They've captured a power user named Tamori and requested a trade, the two of them for Yu. Furuki is to drive Yu alone. They've been planning this for a long time since Furuki was their rat. If it fails, they'll assume he traveled to the past and kill Furuki's family. Afterwards, Shunsuke calls Furuki. When he apologizes, Shunsuke asks when this started. Apparently, they began threatening him since they opened the school. They said they'd kill his family if he told him. He once thought about suicide, but didn't want to leave his family. Shunsuke tells him not to blame himself. Later, Shunsuke informs the others of the situation and admits it's his fault. He knew about Furuki's family, yet let him stay. It happened around the time the academy was founded, so a time leap would just reset all their progress. Their only choice is to send Yu, otherwise they'll kill everyone in their custody. Shunsuke informs Yu of the situation. He instructs Yu to head in, plunder all their powers, and make them drop their weapons. If he's captured, he's to time leap back to this moment and start over. He also warns him not to get too agitated, otherwise collapse will activate. However, Yu claims he couldn't do something like this. He was just a lowlife who cheated through life. While crashing out, collapse begins activating, but Shunsuke embraces him and tells him to focus on his heartbeat. After he calms down, Shunsuke apologizes, but tells him to remember to time leap here if things go wrong. Before the mission, Yu thinks of his time with Tamori and realizes she was always there for him, so he has to save her no matter the cost. After seeing the others off, Furuki drives him to the location where he abandoned Waterboy. Upon entering, Yu only sees two people in sight. They throw down the keys with the address of the apartment where Furuki's family is held, so he takes it and runs. Suddenly, a lunatic runs out with a light bulb in her throat, blinding him enough for her to slash his eye and hand. Yu tries to time leap, but can't. They tell him it's pointless, and reveal they knew all about his powers. The girl then stabs him in the shoulder, causing immense pain. Yu goes berserk, and collapse activates, destroying the surrounding structure. After the devastation, the others arrive and start searching for them. They find Yu and realize he couldn't time leap because his eye was taken. Madoki finds the ringleaders, then puts them to sleep. When Maidamari finds the others, Shunsuke drops his cane and starts running over, but falls to his knees and feels a puddle of blood. Kumagami apologizes to Shunsuke, but was able to protect Tamori. Shunsuke declares he can't die since he was supposed to stick with him until the end. However, Kumagami says that isn't possible now. As his life fades away, Shunsuke holds him and begs him not to go. Yu wakes up in a hospital 2 days later, traumatized and going berserk, but Shichino injects a sedative. When the others come in, Yu asks about Tamori. Apparently she was okay thanks to Kumagami, but they reveal he died because of collapse. Shichino outright blames Yu, but Madoki stops him, saying it was his idea to send him in the first place. Before they leave, Yu asks why Shunsuke isn't here. In outrage, Shichino snaps. Madoki admits that Kumagami was Shunsuke's best friend in the whole world. Sometime later, Ayumi comes to visit him. She asks about his eye, but Yu explains he'll never be able to use it again. However, he's just glad to be alive. Yu asks how things are at the facility. Ayumi thinks everyone is super nice to her, but big brother Shun has been heartbroken. Days go by, and Yu Sarin pays him a visit. She brought her handmade cream stew, which is a cherished family recipe and a tasty source of strength. Yu suddenly remembers her bringing it over during the Great Depression. While she feeds him, he swears to keep it a secret from the simp at all costs. Afterwards, he calls out to Misa. Yu asks where the dead go when they die. Misa has no idea. She's never left this place. When Yusa's ability fades away, she'll be snuffed out like a flame. Yu suggests using the time she has left to visit her loved ones. Misa admits she was a horrible child, and unlike Yusa, she made them miserable. Dying was the worst way to be a bad daughter. Misa takes it into consideration, then switches back to Yusa. Afterwards, Yu immediately orders Yusa to visit her parents, causing her to accept the quest and contact her manager. Takaju comes to check up on him next. He brings lunchboxes with insulation. Inside is the stolen cafeteria beef curry platter. Takaju then starts feeding him like an unwanted orphan child. After the meal, Yu asks how Tamori is doing. Takaju informs him her injuries were minor, so she'll be discharged soon. He tells Yu to get better, then heads out. While watching TV, Yusarin's show comes on, showing her visiting her parents' soba shop in the mountains. Yu thought it was nice she used work as an excuse to visit. During the show, Yusa showcases different items from the menu and tastes them on camera. Suddenly, Misa says there's nothing special about it. Yu thinks she's mad. However, Misa admits the love from her parents was the secret ingredient that made it exquisite. That's why she loved it. As she cries, Misa looks up and thanks her parents. Her parents admit she reminded them of Misa just now. On Yu's 16th birthday, Ayumi arrives with a special omu rice just for him. After feeding him a bite, he notices it's sweet but tastes good. Then he remembers the secret ingredient Misa spoke of. On the roof, Yu finally goes to see Shunsuke. Upon seeing him, Yu realizes he's just like he was after Ayumi died. Shunsuke tells him the terrorists are acting up overseas and he isn't sure what will happen to them. Yu returns to his room and finds Tamori nibbling on Rocky sticks. Yu tells her what they just discussed. Shunsuke had the life knocked out of him. Yu asks Tamori what he's supposed to do now. Tamori reveals the research facility has finished the vaccine in preparation for Charlotte. Everything ends if he can plunder all existing abilities. However, there are risks. Plundering tens of thousands of powers could cause him his sanity or turn him into a monster. It won't be easy, but it's something only he can do. Originally, she never planned on having this conversation, but he came back from the future to save Ayumi, then came to save her as well. At first, she thought he was just a filthy cheater, but now she believes in the person he's become. Tamori tells him to forget it, then asks him to get some rest. Suddenly, Yu declares he'll do it. Tamori asks why, but Yu says it's because he loves her. In another timeline, he fell into depravity, but she stayed by his side the whole time. Tamori accepts his feelings and says she'll be waiting for him. After he plunders all abilities and returns, they can become lovers. If he pulls this off, he'll be irresistibly charming, and she'll let him crack. I just died on your arms tonight. Tamori holds out her pinky and makes him promise he'll return. Afterwards, she orders him to start with her. Yu apologizes, but she's glad and says there was no need. After freeing her, Tamori thanks him with a smile. Later that night, Yu approaches Shunsuke about the plan, but he doubts it's possible. Yu says he doesn't want Kumagami's sacrifice to be in vain, but Shunsuke starts crashing out. However, Yu proves his resolve by admitting he's already taken Tamori's ability and isn't turning back. After informing the others, Shunsuke instructs Yu to fly overseas and locate someone with a search ability like Kumagami while they handle Japan. He just turned 16, so he only has 2 years to pull it off. When leaving the hospital, Misa and Takaju heard about the plan and offered up their powers. Misa suggests taking Yusa's as well if it'll help during the mission. She says she had a good time with them and was happy with the outcome. Misa says goodbye to the simp, then Yu plunders both their powers. Afterwards, they tell Yu not to keep them waiting too long. Before departing, Tamori gives him translation cards to help him get by. In return, Yu asks her to hold on to the music player. Tamori understands and says it'll be there when he returns. She tells him to stay safe, and Yu departs. At the airport, Yu barely gets by with his broken English. After landing in the Philippines, he meets one of Shunsuke's contacts for a list of terrorists. He targets the leader first. Yu locates his car, unlocks it with telekinesis, then waits inside. When the man hops in, Yu takes him over, ignites a fire, and threatens his life. The man wonders why he couldn't read his mind anymore. Yu demands to know how he was locating ability users, gets the answer from his mind, then steals his wallet. After hopping out, he crushes the doors with telekinesis. He locates Angelo, cracks the first man, then crushes his skull with a brick. After taking his power, Angelo pulls out a map to check, and Yu realizes that's how his ability worked. Back at the hotel, Yu looks over the map, revealing every ability user in the area. He wipes out everyone in the country, then moves on to South Africa. There, the enemies are more violent, so he cracks their skulls just the same. He proceeds to clear multiple countries at once. Afterwards, he arrives in Egypt, where warnings spread about the One-Eyed Reaper stealing the abilities of members all over the world. That night, Yu calls Shunsuke to report his progress. Apparently, he's learned every language in the world, and if he wanted, he never had to sleep again. One day, Yu steals an ability that can make illnesses grow. In terrorist land, Yu is furious at what he sees. That night, he steals the power of a boy marked on the map, but nothing happens. After reading his mind, Yu discovers they're only carriers. He can't plunder abilities that haven't awakened, but remembers the doctor's words. Using the power to accelerate illnesses, he forces them to awaken, then steals the abilities of the entire terrorist camp while they sleep. In India, Yu is suddenly caught in an ambush as bullets rain down on him. However, they all deflect and blast the attackers away. Afterwards, he drops to his knees from exhaustion. In Peru, Yu finds a girl healing an injured bum. He feels sympathy, but takes her ability anyway. Afterwards, he considers healing his eye and using Time Leap. However, his resolve is too strong. He made a promise to cleanse the world. Days later in Cuba, Yu begins hearing voices. Shunsuke calls, but Yu goes berserk and causes the hotel to collapse. He climbs from the rubble, mistakes the man for an enemy, then launches iron rods and stones at him before stopping at the last second. Meanwhile, Shunsuke gets no answer and begins to worry. Some days later, Yu forces himself to sleep in Saudi Arabia. When he wakes up, he sees news reports showing devastation across the area and wonders what happened. Looking down, he vaguely remembers slaughtering multiple groups of ability users. He realizes his memories are fading and decides he couldn't sleep anymore. In Italy, mobsters ambush him, but Yu sits lifeless, wondering why he's even there. His bag bursts open, damaging Tamori's note cards, making him pissed. He launches them into the air and breaks their necks. After picking up the cards, Yu suddenly remembers he made a promise to return to her. Sadly, he can't remember who she is. Meanwhile, Tamori sits alone, listening to Ji end and praying for his return. Over the following months, Yu travels from country to country, decimating terrorist groups across the world. However, every night he feels lifeless and empty. In the Arizona desert, Yu was tired and just wanted to go home. Suddenly, he considers taking over the world since he's basically a god now. As he stands, he drops the note cards and kicks them away, but then rushes over to protect the one thing keeping him alive. He tears up, wondering why kicking them made him cry. Moments later, Yu resumes his mission with Tamori hanging around his neck. At a research facility in Turkey, the men call him a monster after he eats every bullet. They fire an RPG next, but it has no effect either, making Yu pissed enough to kill them. After curing a boy in Beijing, only one target remains. However, a peasant shoots him in the back with a crossbow. He shoots him again while he's down. Suddenly, a young girl appears and tells him not to prey on the weak. The man reveals Yu has a massive international bounty on his head. Focused on the reward, he shoots at her. However, Yu stops the arrow and stands back up. He realizes the final ability he found was courage. Yu takes it, then tells the girl to run home. She says she'll call for help, then runs off. Yu realizes his mission is finally over, but he still has a promise to return home. The man shoots him again, and Yu collapses. He reaches for the note cards, but loses consciousness. Suddenly, a helicopter arrives with Shunsuke screaming for him. Days later, Yu wakes up in a hospital in Japan, with Tamori sitting beside him. She tells him good work for keeping his promise. After helping him up, Yu asks who she is. Tamori is shocked, yet not surprised. Considering how many abilities he stole, it must have taken a massive toll on his brain. Tamori introduces herself as his girlfriend. They're classmates, and both serve on the student council. Before he left, they promised they'd finally crack once he returned. Yu apologizes, then notices the note cards. Tamori explains she made them for his journey. Yu smiles and admits they were a charm he carried everywhere. He always told himself never to throw them away, no matter how beat up they became. Tamori thanks him and starts tearing up. If they brought him back safely, she was glad. Yu reaches for her hand and tells her not to cry. Tamori smiles and welcomes him home. Afterwards, she records the group so they can all make new memories together. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more anime recaps like this and watch this video next.